through a pre-marriage class. And I want to recommend, if you will permit me, that Pastor Moses Sawaogo lead the team to put together a pre-marriage workbook. It is important that we set a good foundation for anybody that we are going to marry. Because if that foundation is not solid, those couples will be calling us at 2 midnight. Now, what does the Bible say about the foundation of a marriage? The Bible says only one thing. The Bible says only one thing. You find that one thing in the Old Testament, and you find it in the New Testament. And that thing is this: do not be unequally yoked with an unbeliever. In Genesis 24, after Sarah died, Abraham called his servant and said, go to my people and bring a wife for my son Isaac. And the servant said, can I just bring a woman in this village? And Abraham said, oh, no, no, no. In fact, swear to me that you will not get a wife for my son among these people. It is not because the Canaanites were not beautiful, but because they did not serve Yahweh. So Eliezer had to go to a faraway land to get a woman who understands and served Yahweh. In the New Testament, Paul told the Corinthians, he said, do not be unequally yoked with an unbeliever. Some of you who farm, you will understand the concept of yoke. When you put two animals together and you tie them together to plow the farm, the wood or the iron you use to put the animal together is called a yoke. So what Paul is saying is this: don't use a cow and a horse. Or don't use a horse and a donkey. For you to get the best results, you have to use 2 horses or 2 donkeys or 2 cows. If you use one or the other, the plowing is not going to be very good. Before I left the US on Monday, I got a call from a very good pastor friend of mine. He's a bishop. And he was asked to marry somebody, to marry a couple. And he wasn't sure if he should do it. And I said this to him. I said, Bishop, if I were you, I would not marry these two people. Because based on what you've told me, these people are not equally yoked. If two of them were unbelievers, I will say marry them. If two of them were believers, I will say marry them. But if you marry one believer and an unbeliever, you are part of something that will fail before it even starts. So I want to recommend to you pastors, be very careful two people that you yoke together. How do we know a Christian? You know, that is one question I get a lot when I talk to single people. Who is a Christian? If I go to church, will I find a Christian? And I tell them, no, the devil goes to church too. In fact, the devil sometimes preaches. So if you go to church just to pick a spouse, you're looking for trouble sometimes. A friend of mine told me this story many years ago. He said God called us, his people, sheep. And foxes come into the midst of the sheep to eat or to pounce on sheep. And when they come, they put on camouflage. And you know foxes smell. So two foxes with camouflage usually will attract each other. And when they get home, they both take off their camouflage. And they will realize that both of them have been lying to each other. So how do you know a Christian? It is not for me to judge. But Jesus said something that is very important. He said, by a tree's fruit, you will know that tree. And in Galatians 5, we know that there are two fruits. Fruit of the flesh and fruit of the spirit. So if somebody says, I am a Christian, you will expect to find a type of fruit on that tree. If any of us see a mango tree outside, and we move closer to the mango tree, and we see oranges, we will call the television station to come and see the wonder. But when it comes to Christians, we're not concerned. We should be concerned if somebody says, I'm a Christian, and the fruit they bear does not show that they are Christian.
Bangiti wala manganti na wom ora ti sid waya wawa.